Too long.
Are we ready to start?
Why not?
Well, we'll call this meeting to order. It's 5:15 p.m. For those of you that don't know, we have a couple recently appointed members to this board. I'd like to welcome, we have Jamie Terrill and Michael Hunt. Thanks for being here. We'll start out with a roll call. Mark Bartlett. Randy Smith.
Here.
Ken Miller.
Yeah.
Dave Billings.
Yeah.
Chris Raines.
Here.
Jamie Terrill. Here. Brian Lawrence. Here. Jace Kennedy.
Here.
Michael Hunt.
Here.
Has everyone had a minute to review the minutes from our September 20th, 2018 meeting? If not, let's take a brief minute. Once everyone's had a chance to take a look at that, if there's any additions, corrections, or if I have a motion and a second to approve them.
Wasn't here, so I don't know.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes as presented for the September 20th, 2018 meeting. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving down our agenda, it appears that the time has come for renewal of officers for the Building Trades Board. In the past, we've always carried a chairperson and a vice chair position. Our chairperson was formerly Carl Bowman, who's no longer with us, and I've filled the seat as vice chair. Does anybody have any interest in filling either of those positions, or are there any nominations for either of those positions?
I want to nominate Dave. He was the last one here.
I'm sitting back here.
Well, we'd like to see you up here, so you know what he's gonna do.
I've been there before. I'll second that. Nomination.
So,
Nominate Jace. I'll nominate Chris.
so we have a nomination for Mr. Billings for the chair position. Is that in a second? Is that what I have?
I nominate Brian Lawrence. He's the co-chair. No reason why he shouldn't move on up.
And he does a good job.
Actually, you got
You want it?
Chris and Jace too.
Yeah. We got 3 people, 4 now.
Does anybody here have an interest in fulfilling the position of chair? I mean, in all honesty, does anybody want that job? Because if so, it's yours. No?
You want it?
I mean, I'll do it if you guys want me to do it, but I don't have an opinion one way or
We'd love for you to do it.
another. Okay,
You do as well, Joe.
Just so you don't drag out the meetings.
all right. I kind of like that. If you remind me of that each time, I think we'll get along just fine. All right, for the position of chair, we have a nomination for Brian Lawrence. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? For the position of vice chair, do I have anybody interested in filling that position or any nominations for that position?
No, I'll do the vice chair. I'll nominate myself, I guess.
Yeah, I'll second that.
That works.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Approve.
Before he changes his mind.
All right, moving on. The next item for discussion this evening is contractor licensing exams ordinance. In our packets, we have some information provided by the city. I think they've spent a little bit of time putting this together for us, and I think they're a little more versed in it than we probably are. So is there someone from the city that would like to speak to us about
Why?
the presentation?
Yeah.
Good evening, board members.
Yep.
What we've got, in the packet, what you got is explains a little bit of what it's about. And, paper that I gave you before, 1558, the Kansas statute, gives municipalities and counties the option to be able to have other testing methods, to approve other testing methods. And what this kind of brought up against was perfectly, was out in Creekstone, we have a contractor out there, $36 million job. He's from Iowa, was it? Iowa. They had a completely different type of testing, and we went underneath that statute to be able to approve him. And the way I did it was we checked, Truce got the information, we checked to make sure that their testing was within 80% of ICC testing, and it was. So that's how we were able to approve it. And there's nothing in 1558 that stipulates that we have to do that. But that would be one of the regulations that I would require, that it would be at least 80% of ICC covering the same stuff.
Did they reciprocate back with Kansas?
Well, Iowa,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't have.
Well, you know, I mean, in this case, yeah, who else is gonna,
Yeah, that's
very
the
few
thing.
people gonna qualify to do that job out there.
That's
We'll leave
the-
it, we'll leave that go.
Yeah.
But let's say, cause you start doing this, we can take any electrician, plumber, carpenter, comes in from another state,
Well,
and if they make 80% of it,
if you read that closely on 1558,
yeah,
that pretty much just goes by contractors, builders, and residential contractors.
okay. I believe we have them in town some places,
We do.
okay?
But the thing is how are we gonna stipulate between somebody doing a $30 million job versus a $30,000 job? So how can we set a boundary there?
Cost doesn't bother me that big, I'm just saying, if this guy come in, he's 80%, okay,
Right?
he made that, that's your requirement you want,
And he's got to have a passing score that was tested by 75%
okay?
by Kansas statute.
Has he kept up all his licensing or licensing, his schooling and all this stuff?
The
ECUs?
Builders don't have to have school.
Well, hell, that's what I ought to get into then.
Contractors do not have to have, general builders and residential contractors don't have to have continuing education. This contractor that's doing the Creekstone thing, he's nationwide.
No, I'm content with him, but I'm just saying, future,
Future,
yeah,
in the future, here again, say somebody from, I'm trying to think of a state that doesn't go with Kansas. Perfect example, Nebraska, again, it used to.
okay,
Okay, say somebody comes in here and they, wanna get a license for a job here, we'll check with the testing from Nebraska, what they require. If they're 80%, then we'll let them go. If they pass it with a 75, that's another stipulation. And then we talk to the building official for that city. If they've had any violations, they don't get it.
all I'm saying, I just want more than this 80% in there. For the simple fact, I know we're relying on you,
Right?
but I don't want somebody coming up that signs your paycheck saying, I want this guy in here, and you're either looking at getting fired or,
Well, I turn around and walk away.
I know, and I'm not picking on you, I'm just saying, I don't want you or the next guy coming in, yeah.
I didn't take that to be picking on me.
No,
No, you don't know.
go ahead.
But, that's one thing, anybody that's an out-of-state contractor, we'll look at them with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that they're qualified to do that type of work in our municipality. And, here again, at least at 80%, and we check with the building official for that city that they do it. And, if they've had any kind of violations, that's not gonna cut it.
Right.
That would be one way for us to say, we're not gonna honor it and give you a license.
The only other way is that they have to come in, take the Kansas State test, Take our test. take our, yeah, and then,
The ICC test.
okay. So, is Winfield reciprocating on, I mean, I'm just asking, or is that something, I mean,
I talked to Richard Jack with Wellington, and he said if somebody's grandfathered in, they took the test and they passed it with a 75, he'll honor it. So somebody in Arc City can go up there and license for Wellington. Winfield is a little bit different. Rod Haney said he will not honor any grandfathering period. But then if somebody has a Wichita license and they now have a Sedgwick County license because it's one license now, he'll honor that. So,
Sound like they need to,
I take
a little more uniform.
Yeah. But,
So what if it's a general contractor, like the deal at Creekstone? We're talking about the general contractor that came in and said and he's a general contractor for construction, concrete, electrical, everything.
he's not for electrical, plumbing, or mechanical. The
Okay.
trades, they have to have their own permits, they have to have their own licensing.
Okay.
The GC, the general contractor, he's just responsible for the building of the building and the grade work, the concrete, and all that.
And like Wendy's would be the same thing? So when Wendy's came in, they had a general contractor that took care of everything, but then you actually looked at the license for their plumber, their electrician,
Exactly.
really?
Yep.
Cool.
Same thing with Creekstone, they're the Interstate Electric, are just doing the electrical on, they, have the certification of the licensing for what we require, so they got a license. And, Kuhn Mechanical doing the plumbing and the, mechanical out there.
Let me ask you this, Mike. This basically is something that we've had before, that we would honor another city's license and another state, I think, as long as it fell within this comparable to whatever testing procedure we were using at the time. I think it
As
was
long as at least they.
Yeah, this one,
but
says.
it was a one-time license that allowed them to come in and do a project in the city because like we were bigger or whatever, they used their own guys or whatever. We allowed that. Ken, do you
Yep,
remember
yep.
that?
Yep, we
We
did.
allowed that as a one-time deal.
That
Just
was
the
a
trades
matter of-
contractors,
Right,
but they still had to prove their testing.
Yep.
yes.
They still had to prove it, but it was just for the trades contractors, it wasn't for the.
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Uh,
Going back to the same thing as a one, I'll say not a one time, but a one project
Yeah.
license.
This is a one permit for a licensed project per year. In other words, if a guy comes in here and, we honor his license, grandfather him, whatever, and, he comes up here and he wants to start a job, he can get one permit to do it in that 1 year time period. And then after that year is over with, then his license is null and void.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Well, what if he sends his money back in to renew his license, even though he's not doing anything right now?
I really can't see
Because
that
his
happening.
brother-in-law lives down here and he wants to come down there and do work for him.
Yeah.
I'm not talking big people, I'm talking small, because if you're not gonna distinguish between contractors' size, then that means that a one-man shop in
If he
Oklahoma could come up here and do it.
He could reapply again for that, you know, if he does good quality work, you know, and he meets all the requirements that we require for him to do the work, that's perfectly fine, but the thing is, as you know, he'd have to get licensed and bonded for the city here, he has to pay for the license and everything. If he's doing something for his brother-in-law or cousin or whatever, it'd have to be a decent sized job to be able to offset the expenses of what he's having to spend just to get the license in the city. So,
Well, I guess my thinking was is that Joe Blow's plumbing contractor comes in to our city to do a project, well, they still got his license, and when they're done with that project, he wants to stay and do some more work, cause he had people that were out there, oh, why don't you come here and do this, why don't you do that?
Well,
And it
he
falls
can't do it
into
in
the
that
next
same
year.
Yeah, he can't do it in that same year, but he can do it in the year following.
So this would basically just give them the right to get a license, no matter what.
Not, no matter what.
But, well, I mean, as long as he meets the requirements.
If he meets the requirements, plus say if it's a grandfather colored in clause. It's just like when we took the block test, the testing score was 70 or above to pass. Kansas statute says you gotta have a 75. And
Yes, I do know that there are states and cities that allow, different.
But that's one thing, Matt Rowland did implement the one-time licensing thing. And that, how long did that last?
Matt didn't implement that, that was just Intershot.
Yeah, that was
We took
Intershot
it
that
off
brought that in.
because it was such a hassle to try to, it was a hassle to try to maintain, okay, so who gets this renewal and who doesn't get this renewal, and so
Keep them
that's,
separated.
so that was what so that's when we took it off, and I think when we went to the code cycle, when we went to the 2009 code cycle,
Took it out.
we took it out.
But
And I didn't remember when we were talking about it with Intershot and them, that contractors were even brought up.
It
Well, I
was,
think there was
Are you sure that was
There,
a
but yeah, but we kinda left it that way open, but if somebody, when we brought them on or licensed them, then that made them fall under that same,
Yeah, I didn't remember.
the only.
that was how I interpreted it all the time. The plumbers, contractors, and mechanicals, electricians were one time.
Yeah,
Yes.
We didn't have the,
builders.
We didn't have
builders
the
yet.
contractors.
yeah, but when we did it, I thought we left the door open. When they come in, that they fell under the same thing that we had to from here on out. Now you're putting the general and building in there.
We're not doing anything more than what Kansas statute says we can do.
Alright,
But here again, like if it's a grandfather clause where someone's coming in, they just have a city license for Mulvane, for example.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna go in and I want documentation of their test score, and then I'm gonna talk to the, building official or code official, whoever they have up there, and get a recommendation from him. If there's any kind of problem with, violations or anything like that, that is a done deal.
Okay.
It's closed, we won't do it.
so you're saying part of this is being shoved down, that we can just put a little more teeth into it?
Yeah, it just clears it up more to where that if somebody comes in, we don't have to reference back to that statute, it'll be in our municipal code that way.
And is it just one
One job?
job per year is the
One
only,
job
per year?
per year, one permit per year.
Okay.
And a perfect example, let's say, the housing developer comes in, and a contractor comes in, an electrician comes in, or a plumber, or heat and air guy, and he wants to start doing those houses, but he doesn't have a state license. Yeah, you can go do one house, and that's it for that year, that's all you can do, and we won't renew it again. Any other questions?
So, section 14-196, you're proposing we strike the and examination, and then the stuff highlighted in green is new verbiage.
14, what one
Oh, one, yeah.
So if the green is the proposed
Green
new,
is what we're keeping.
new verbiage.
Green
So,
is- Oh, here.
item C says providing proof of obtaining a bachelor's degree in engineering, architecture, construction science
that in
would qualify.
Johnson County, that's where we got that at, that's what they require for Johnson County. And,
Oh, okay.
well, Johnson County basically does is the code heart of Kansas, that's where it all comes from. You know, the ICC and everything, they're the ones that set, you know, a lot of the rules and regulations that we have to go by. And that's what they have, and there's for somebody that is not licensed in the state, that's one way for them to get a license, is to have a bachelor's science degree.
Does that make them a contractor?
It has to be from an accredited university, if they have that type of degree. That Johnson County checks the university and checks their credentials.
Okay.
Is the $4,000?
If they don't have the state testing.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good idea.
I don't like that so much.
Yeah, we're gonna give everybody that went to college a license just because they went to college? I don't think so.
Yeah.
City bond.
But that's where
general contractor.
Your great uncle has got somebody in mind that he's wanting, or somebody's uncle, cousin, we don't, we'll say a lot of this stuff we don't get a chance to bid on, we just have to put different teeth
That's
into
phase
it.
one, 36 million, phase two, 72,
Yeah.
75 million.
Well, I don't know, maybe Freestone has surety bonds that they require, I know that
They
have
have,
two.
sometimes the bond isn't even close to what. the
Completion
price-
bond, whatever you wanna call them, so they
Performance
just walk
bond.
off, yeah,
Performance bond.
performance bond, yeah.
That's pretty much standard on anything that's over $100,000. Most contractors or, companies that are having contractors do the work for them, if it's 100,000 or more, you gotta have to, put up a bid bond.
Mhm.
That way you can't draw your bid up, and then you have to do a performance bond on top of that.
Okay.
I think item C is a little bit too lenient.
So what?
And where you at?
Item C, the, just having a degree gets you a
Oh,
license.
so you're back on yours.
My particular situation, I have a degree in mechanical engineering from an accredited university, but that didn't make me a contractor. They didn't teach you construction during college, they taught you, you know,
Bond does.
science, exactly. So I feel like that's not a true representation of whether somebody's qualified to perform a construction contract.
What was that wording for? I
That's
don't think I've
added.
ever seen that in any
It never
license.
had, we just added that.
Yeah, I think that, you know, taking somebody's education into account when it comes to like, you know, years of experience to be qualified to take the test. I know we have, you know, certain number of years of experience required. You know, I think allowing education to reciprocate for years of experience might be an appropriate way to do it, but I feel like,
Percentage.
yeah, I feel like they still ought to,
And that's the way.
because this
it was.
basically just says that anybody that's got a degree
And that's the way it was.
can have a license.
To get a license and.
So whether, if you
Yeah.
have, say, 5 years, in a college and it's into construction or whatever, that can be a percentage for your, time to be able to get your license.
Yeah, I'm just speaking from my experiences, but I went to college with a lot of people, and I wouldn't trust half of them with a license, you know?
Me
And
too.
just- you know, so,
If you get some sort of,
I think they all need to have 2 years' experience before they get their degree.
yeah,
to be in there?
Pretty much what we did, Therese talked to Johnson County, and we just felt like Johnson County is the guru of codes, and if they got it in there, it's a good clause. And we ran it by Tamara too.
Well, how it came about was when we were doing research on the contractor for Creekstone, they did not have the qualifications to be licensed here. For however long, I've been here for 11 years, they did not meet those qualifications. We found out they were licensed in Johnson County, and you can get a license in Johnson County, you should be able to get a license anywhere in the state of Kansas. When I talked to their licensing department, they did not have, this company was licensed in Johnson County, but they did not have a state recognized exam. They have this degree, and with a person on their staff had that degree, and that's how they obtained their license with Johnson County.
I mean, if that's what the group wants to do, I guess I'm okay with it.
That
It's,
sounds like a one-time thing to me.
but,
If I'm like you,
I mean,
going to college,
But
doesn't
it's
make
a-
you that smart.
yeah, but it's so, it doesn't say in here that it's a one-time thing. It says that anybody with a degree gets a
No,
license
that's what I'm saying, it should be that should be pushed into a one-time thing if you're taking that
to
in.
perform the work.
Okay, let's see here.
For,
I like the one permit per year.
Yeah, well, same, that's what I'm saying, a one-time thing.
That's the same thing,
Yeah.
it says one license,
One license, one,
Yeah, I mean, because if we're gonna leave that in there, I'd like to go ahead and use my degree to get a general contractor license, electrical license. I mean, why don't you go ahead and give me a masonry license? I mean, give them all to me.
hey,
Let's have.
go fill out the paperwork, bring
Yeah.
your money up here, and,
I mean, it's just, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you're opening the gates.
well, that's,
The first
yeah,
thing
I'll
I'm gonna
agree.
say is, I'm gonna say, I'd like to see some jobs or hear some contractors that you've done electrical work for.
Sure.
Or plumbing work, whatever.
Yeah.
If you've never done that in your realm of working, then that's pretty much, we don't wanna have this as an experiment for your,
And I don't disagree with what you're saying, but that's not what this says.
Yeah.
This says that if they have this degree from that, then it qualifies them. It says that would qualify.
Still, it's gotta go before the building official.
Okay.
See, and that's where I would step in, I would say, okay, Brian, you wanna, get electrical license, can you give some references of jobs that you've done? Then we check on them. Everything was okay, by this, we say, okay, you got it.
Okay.
Thing I worry about's when, like, Mike's gone. We don't know
Yeah.
who we're gonna have in here. They might
Oh,
just,
Well,
yep, you're good, sign
I'll still
them
be here
up.
when you retire, Chris.
Well,
well, I was gonna say when I do, but I don't know about you,
Yeah.
you young pups around here, you
I got a
know.
little ways to go.
well, you even take a nursing degree, and a nurse, you even take a nursing degree, a nurse goes to school for 5 or 6 years,
Yep,
and if she can't pass the test, she ain't a nurse.
yep. She takes the,
That's the way it works. I
she
mean,
takes the
that's-
RN test and everything, cause my
That's right.
wife is a registered nurse.
That's right, and
And
that
she
is,
went 5 years
that's,
and passed it.
you go to, yeah, so I still think the testing has a tremendous value,
Yep.
not just taking the course. I
And if they
mean,
want the job bad enough, they can come
If,
and take a
if you
test.
took, if you took 4 years and you ought to be able to pass the test, the test ought to be the minimal thing that you're worried about.
That's why some of the, quite a few, some of the cities go by this and that's it. And then other cities, they just say, you know, we'll count that as a percentage, you know, of your qualifications. So if you gotta have, you know, 3 years underneath a master as a German, take your master's, and you don't have it, but you got, say, 2 years, but you got college education, then this can count towards that a lot of times. But that's not what this says. That's some cities. In other cities, like I said, Johnson County, does Wichita go by this too?
Go by what?
Go by the Bachelor of Science degree?
No.
No,
Some of the other cities, I'm sure do.
I guess it is,
I mean, I'm
cause that
I'm
sound like that
okay
too.
with it as long as there's some vetting that goes
Yeah,
on.
I'm saying it's, okay, it's one step, but it's not a full,
Not full stride.
right, yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but you haven't,
And here again, like I said, that's where, you know, I would step in and I would do, you know, a lot of research on any contractor that would come out that doesn't have the proper testing of what we go by now. You know, if somebody out of state with an out-of-state license or something like that, or let's say like not Winfield, but Oklahoma, you know, there again, they're a state licensing, state, but it's not ICC or none of that. You know, somebody comes up here and say they're gonna do a, you know, $10 million job, then we'd wanna see the testing results of what they got and what's on that test. That's how we did with White's Construction at Freestone.
I'm saying that guy's probably qualified, but we don't know about the next one coming along, you know, or you're if this is what we're doing, like Brian says, all your buddies up there that you really don't care, you know, do you want, I mean, I went to school with some too, and I'm going, I know why they wore slip-ons, you know,
Yeah.
they couldn't,
It sounds like there's a process and procedure to vet them. So
all right,
And that's the thing, you know, the vetting part would be on me to do.
all right.
You know, I would go in there and like I said, I want documentation from a building official, I want your test results, I wanna know what test you took, then we get a hold of that state and get the, type of questions that they have on it and everything. Like I said, the one in Iowa was pretty darn close to what we had here.
and if we ever had a problem, I mean, the trades board can review decisions that the official makes. So if our code official at the time let somebody have a license that we all felt was not acceptable, we could review and overrule that decision at that time.
You can,
So,
yep.
I mean,
But it might be too long after the fact.
Whenever-
But
whenever-
anyway, yeah, I
It
mean,
could
as
be.
long as it's a step, it's not the only thing, well, I got this, so here I want it. No, I don't care for
I
that, but,
agree with Brian that the way this is written right now, there is no provision to telling somebody if this passes, the way you've got it there,
Yeah.
they can come in and get a license from the city and
yeah,
they don't have to worry about whether there's a one permit per year unless you specify a separate one permit per year contractor's license.
Well, on D, it says that this, demonstrate to the building official satisfaction, and then blah, 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 that the one permit per year per license.
but that's only for item D.
Yeah.
Item D.
It would need to say that on item C also. And I guess that verbiage could be added, you know,
Well,
because it says one of the following means, you know, establish establishing the contractor is qualified through one of the following means, so,
I see what you mean.
you know, it would, like, if you want that to apply to all of the following means, you'd need to list that to each of the following means. And that could be the case. I think an equivalent license issued by another state or municipality, as long as it's equivalent and approved, I'm okay with that. I think.
And we could get with Tamara, too, she can just put it at the first part, stating that, you know, demonstrating to the officials satisfaction on all the cases down below.
So I guess my question is, this is putting a lot of personal liability on you. Because I walk in with, say, I've got a master mechanics degree from whatever university, and I show it to you, by this, you have to give me a license, period, right? Unless you make a phone, I have no credentials to go by other than this.
But anytime we deviate from our normal licensing, then that would give me the authority to go in and double check these people. Say you did come in here and you had a master's in a mechanical,
Yeah.
then what I would do, I'd go ahead and say, okay, where have you worked at before? What jobs have you done? Then I would check those cities
Right.
and check with the building officials in those cities. Have you had any problems with this contractor? I need an email back stating what problems you've had with it. How long have they been in business?
Well, I guess the backside of the liability factor from, and I don't know what you asked Tamara, so, because they didn't pass a test, they have no testing, all they have is schooling and the word of somebody else that you took.
Yep.
So the personal liability becomes a huge issue if he builds something and it falls down and kills 3 people. Well, how did he get a license in Arc City to begin with?
Right.
Well, this is how, and I don't know the answer to that, that's why I'm kinda asking you as a question.
Well, like I said, that's one thing that we do a lot of background checking. Perfect example, again, is White's Construction out of Creekstone. Nationwide, you know, this $36 million job is small compared to what they make.
Yeah, but if they're a nationwide company, there's no reason that they shouldn't have one guy on staff that can't pass an ICC test. I mean, come on.
You'd be surprised.
You know, I mean, that's
They
just,
might do, but the thing is,
they need to get a guy's
There's
behind
contractors
down
that send
there
people all over the country
and
to
have him take a
tests.
test.
So-
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of companies, Brian, that do not have guys that have ICC licenses and everything,
yeah,
that.
they need to go get one.
That, I mean, they do $1 million jobs.
I understand that.
Right.
I understand that. You'd think if they're a company of staffers of 500 people, you'd think they could find one qualified individual to get his.
I'm sure they can.
As long as we got loopholes like this, they don't need to.
They don't need to. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Mike, on this, like, I'm just thinking, like, I'm not an attorney, but I'm thinking on the legal side of this, if they come in and they tell you, you know, I got a bachelor's degree in engineering, I want a license,
You
and
deny
you,
him.
and you deny it, and then they come back and they say, well, in your section 2, you know, here it doesn't say, it just says that, you know, that you would provide them, that they had to have proof of obtaining the bachelor's and the architecture, construction, or whatever, and then
They proved it, and you don't give them a license because they don't have any experience. Well, now they could potentially sue the city of Arc City.
I mean, that's just what I'm just trying to think of all these little
I
things
think,
that.
I think it needs,
That wouldn't happen because, like I said, the building official has the right to take care of the city of Arkansas City, number 1. The building official also has the right to whether, if he needs more information from the company, he can ask for it. If he feels like that company does not meet the qualifications to be able to do the job through violations from prior cities or whatever, you know, he can refuse it.
Okay.
You know, it's completely up to the building official.
I guess the question is, do you feel comfortable
Yeah,
with that?
that's kinda what I was getting to, is that something
Yeah.
you feel comfortable with that liability?
There's a lot of stuff in all the codes that I don't feel.
Well, I understand that too, but I mean, you know, because we're actually setting you out here on the hook, you're gonna be the one everybody's gonna skin, it ain't gonna be the commissioners, it ain't gonna be the mayor. We're gonna say, there's Mike hanging out there.
You know, I have full confidence in Tamara, the way she writes it up, and, there's a lot of legal, precautions that we have to take to make sure it's legal, you know, that everything's worded correctly. And I feel 100% comfortable that she's got it right to where there's no liability on me or the city. The only, the liability part, it has to be negligence and liability. liability, I mean negligence intent for anybody really to be able to come back onto the city official. I mean, in other words, I gotta do it on purpose. If I do it by accident,
Yeah.
that's what not even in the equation.
So could you ask to make for sure that, that the question about if they just have this bachelor's degree and that's it, so maybe we need to combine C and D somehow?
Instead of saying or, say and.
Instead of-
Either maybe,
Yeah.
at the beginning of it, saying that,
Right.
it has to,
Or maybe
the building
change,
of satisfaction.
or maybe change the, only one of these, maybe they have to meet two of those.
Yeah, drop the or and just add in,
The or at the end of C, just put and.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, or just say as specified below in item D, you know, or something of that
Or
nature.
combine C and D and just
Just
change
make
or
for sure
and.
that question's
Well,
correct.
we could put it right below A stating that, have to demonstrate to the building's official satisfaction the contractor is qualified to perform the work. We could have it in there as B and then have everything else C, D, and E.
And it has to be you that makes this qualification. If you're on vacation
Yep.
for 2 weeks, they just don't get qualified till you get back.
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't take 2 week vacation here.
you might. We may go bury you for a month or two.
I don't know. After tonight, I might take a week off.
All right.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
There's a beer at the house.
Yeah,
you
if
don't
he's
wanna
gone,
run,
there's an
it's unlocked.
emergency, there's means of, you know, the commission making a ruling or something, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
we
new.
can't, we can't stop that. They're gonna do what they want to anyway.
So the process here, for those who are a little unfamiliar, is the city staff has put this together as recommended changes to our currently adopted city ordinance. And as an advisory board, which I see they kind of want to quit calling us advisory board, but as an advisory board, the city commission relies on us to evaluate these since they're technical in matter and pertain to our trades, and then make a recommendation. We don't actually vote as to approve, you know, or reject. We basically advise the commission, the city commission, who then in turn votes to approve or reject. So, I think what the city staff's gonna look for here is, basically, I don't know, but maybe a motion, or a statement saying that the group accepts as presented or accepts with these modifications.
No,
Yeah, or no, we don't like it, revise.
I'd like to see it before it goes to them,
So we have,
just so it,
for lack of a better word, a motion to revise it and bring it back to the trades board before we send it to the commission. Does that sound acceptable to staff? Or are you guys hoping to get this to their hands sooner?
We would like to try to get this to their hands on next commission meeting, which is next month, the first, Tuesday of next month.
First
should've had a meeting last month.
Well,
We brought before them, 2 meetings before that they wanted to bring it before you guys.
So I mean, if the question is asked to Tamara, if legally she feels that these should be added together, and she says, no, we're 100% covered here, that's what
She's
she
the
gets
city
paid to
attorney.
do.
Yep, she's
So
the city
I would,
attorney.
we think it should be together, but if the legal mouth says it doesn't,
So,
She went to a better college.
yeah, she has the degree.
She has the degree, yes.
so am I hearing that we want to make a recommendation to city staff to revise item C to include item D and then present it to the city commission for approval? Is that what?
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I make a motion to do that.
Okay, so we've got a motion.
Actually, it'd be nice to have it on B and C and D.
On where?
B, C, D.
B, C, and D all together?
They always have that,
Do you agree with that?
the building official satisfaction, have that to where the,
Yeah.
if somebody is providing equipment license issued by another state, that way that gives me authority in writing this way to say, okay, I wanna check the
Okay.
testing, procedure, what's on the test, and make sure everything's correct on it. You know, that meets 80% of the ICC regulations. That way, cause the way it is now, I see what you guys are talking about, I'm just thinking, if we're gonna change it, let's make it right for the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's up to you guys. You guys-
So I have a motion.
Could we add some, and this is a question, because I don't know, maybe some verbiage of maybe recommended, or I don't know if you could even do that. How do you recommend to somebody that's doing a big $500,000 project or $1.5 million, whatever, that they should get somebody that has a test?
A test,
I mean, is there any way that we could,
recommend it.
I don't know how that works.
You can suggest it, but, yeah.
Well, I think B would stand on its own, just for the fact that if you've already,
From
got
another
a-
state or
a
municipality.
license through, at another state or municipality, which is kind of what we do now
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah.
That basically, he doesn't go back and check on everyone that
The-
comes in, and,
The
I
thing
mean, you
is,
can, but
those
I don't think you could deny them a license just by,
Well, just,
It says providing equivalent license issued by another state or municipality.
That stands
You
alone.
know, the way it is here,
B stands alone.
who's gonna decide if it's equivalent? You know, if we have that other part in there, then that
well,
will
then
be,
that should
Combine
be,
B and combine C and D.
I mean, I can decide. if it's
you would
equivalent.
have to, yeah, you would have
do
to
the following.
that.
and-
So
B and
here's,
then combine
here's
C
my
and D.
question. Like, how many other tests, different tests are there? Like, the state of Kansas has the 4 tests, the block, the ICC, prometric, and
Those
experience.
uniforms.
So the state of Kansas recognizes 4 exams, that's it. So what we're saying is if they have an exam that's equivalent to ICC or, whatever,
Yep.
how many other exams are there for contractors to take that we could compare to what ICC requires as a 75%?
Well, Oklahoma is a state license,
Yeah.
and I don't think they would let us come down there.
They won't,
I know.
yeah, that's why I would've took the test down there.
That's why I got mine, because they won't let you work down there, whether you've got a state license here or not.
Well, that's what I was asking earlier. Do they reciprocate with Kansas?
Yeah.
Maybe that ought to be something there too.
Oklahoma does not reciprocate with Kansas, period.
I don't
But
think
that-
it's okay with anybody.
Well, yeah, I know that. But that's the same way with this license equivalent in another state or municipality. To me, that falls under the same thing as I got a bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
Just 'cause I can go over here and have somebody else take the test for me and put my name on it, don't mean I know diddly, which I don't anyway.
as long as that.
But I can bring it back and show it to you.
Well, any testing facility that you go to,
Yeah.
Pearson or any of the other testing, what they do, you have to show them your driver's license for number one.
Mhm.
They take a picture of you, and that's how they, know that you are that person, because your picture's gonna be on that driver's license.
Okay.
So if they say Mike takes the test for you, they're
Yeah.
gonna look at his driver's license or your driver's license with your name on it. No,
Well, he'd probably pass it, I'd fail it. But irregardless,
Yeah.
same guy can go over there, and maybe that's why he's coming over here, because he's still got a license, but he's got so many lawsuits that they just haven't caught up with him yet, so he's wanting to come in over here.
That's why, anytime there's lawsuits or anything, like bonding, then taken away from somebody, the elected official for that city, municipality, or county will know that.
Right.
And that's how we would find out about it. And if something like that came up, like I said, that's definitely a no-go.
But you still want all 3 of them tied together.
That's up to you guys.
BC
I think that
I see
BC
David
and
covers
D.
too on it,
Alright.
you know, to me, it's up in the air, what do you guys think on it?
Well, I think we have a motion from Chris
Yeah.
that basically says, it's our recommendation as a trades board to approve the changes as presented, with the exception of amending section 14-196, items B and item C to incorporate the provisions of item D as well. Is that?
Did you say all that? I'll second it if you said that much. I'll say it.
That's the way I heard it too.
Yeah,
Did you get all that?
Whatever Brian said.
yeah.
Those provisions being 1 permit per license per year.
No, the provisions being demonstrating to the building's official satisfaction that the contractor is qualified
Along
to
with
perform the
your
work.
bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it'll read, provide an equivalent license issued by another state or municipality and demonstrate to the building official satisfaction that the said contractor is qualified to perform the work, so on, and will qualify the contractor to obtain one permit
Take out or
per license.
line C and D.
Otherwise, D on its own is just, well, yeah, I did such and such work here and there, give me a license.
So with those recommended changes, do I have a second to that motion?
Yeah.
I've got a second, Dave Billings. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I don't see you bring it up.
Good discussion. Miscellaneous items, the city's handed out another document about, old dated gas flex connectors. Has everybody received a copy of that?
This is a brochure that Michael brought to us, and it makes a lot of sense. I shouldn't say a lot of sense, it makes sense, period, on this.
I can attest, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I can attest that, in the first thought was this was just a way to sell flex lines. And I can attest that twice I have seen this happen, that they actually just fall apart. And, both times it was able to get the gas shut off behind the cook stove, they were both on cook stoves. And the gentleman went to move the cook stove out and it just popped, it was over. And luckily, we put the cook stove out, they had an appliance stop behind them, and we were able to isolate that line from leaking, but I just.
But it happened
Good
after, it
information.
happened after they pulled it out.
After they moved it.
While they, okay, all right.
And, to contest what Michael was saying, I've been on a lot of hot water tank inspections and HVAC inspections, and for the gas to turn back on, and there's a lot of that type of flex tubing in there, and it's corroded bad a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of times. And I'll refuse the gas pressure test at that point.
I thought that was in the code anyway, that they had to be approved,
CSST.
you're talking about appliance connectors.
Connectors, yeah.
They have to be an approved, have a little ring on them, and then they have to be coded.
Coded.
Can't use an uncoated.
If it's existing though. then
The
it's
coded
not
just
restricted.
came in not that long ago.
Then you have to change it.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause it's
my
just
thing is, Dave,
last
is
10
they-
years.
Yeah, I was saying, well, that's,
You guys might not touch that.
it's not that hard.
Right.
But here again, I could go in and say that's dangerous, it needs to be replaced before I allow gas.
But on a gas test, you're gonna have to disconnect it, or you take a chance of running
Yeah,
the valve, so you are gonna be touching it.
touching it.
So you just
On
have
most
to tell
cases,
them
you will
that if I do this test, I gotta replace that,
Right,
which is a good idea
Yeah.
anyway.
I think it's a good
If
idea.
you want to put your name to it.
But Mike brought this in, and I thought, good brochure to bring out to everybody.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I think that's good to show our technicians. Any more discussion on the gas flex connectors? Are there any other items?
So what are we gonna do about it?
I don't know that it's really an action
Okay.
item. It's
All
more,
right, just
Mike, is your
be
intent
aware.
just more for
No, I-
reference?
It's
I-
just
I-
Be aware.
information.
I can tell you that whenever I see them, that we disconnect them, we'll plug the stop, attempt to render it unusable. And if it's a little old lady, we'll say, if you wanna run out and get one, we will help you to install it. So we can get your water heater back on, or if it's cold, get your furnace back on, or, you know, we don't do anything other than just help them put the flex line on, so.
You don't wanna be in SOB?
Nope.
There is one other agenda that will
Okay.
be coming up on our next meeting. I've had some HVAC guys talking to me, and they was wondering if they could start doing gas pressure tests, you know, because they take the International Fuel Gas Code Test 2 on top of it. They have to size pipe. Now, so far as running the gas lines, they can't do that, but it's still on their test, and they're wanting to know if they can start doing pressure tests. So, it's just something I wanna bring up to you guys, for you guys to think about, and then on our next meeting, we'll put it on the agenda to vote on.
I ain't done it. That's
I,
one test I don't want.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't realize you didn't allow them to do it already. If they've taken the test, there used to be a mechanical test that did not incorporate international fuel gas. It used to be you could take the mechanical licensure, mechanical or mechanical with gas.
right.
And it used to be the understanding that if it was mechanical with gas, then they could do pressure tests and, run piping to their appliances.
Arc City's never allowed the HVAC to be able to do.
Oh, really?
The only thing we ever had was from the gas.
We have a
cock
plumbing
to the
rig
unit.
too, but yeah.
That was it. From the gas cock to the unit was the only thing we could do, and it had to be within 3 foot. Was that it? I thought that's what keeps coming to mind.
I allow from the shut-off valve in
Yeah,
to the unit.
yeah, but the shutoff's got to be within 3 foot of the unit. Yeah, okay.
Winfield allows HVAC to do it. Wellington does too. That's two of our sister cities, so. Like I said, it's up to you guys, whatever you wanna do on it.
Well, if they pass the test that incorporates the International Fuel Gas Code, I don't think you can rightfully deny them the ability to do it. I mean, that's,
Like I said, it's
To
never
do
been allowed
the
before.
test, if they have the gas,
Right, now we're getting there.
if they've taken the gas test, then they ought to be capable of performing gas piping installations and pressure tests. I mean, that's the code that governs piping installations, procedures, and tests. If they've sizing, this year, the city of Winfield, Arc City, and Wellington's deal for mechanical tradesmen was purely gas pipe sizing. So I think if they pass the appropriate exam, then it's
Well, like I
not.
said, everybody think it over, then we can do it next.
But I think it'll be tough for the city to track because there's people out there that took the exam prior to merging that into one exam. There's mechanical contractors that haven't taken the combined exam.
I'm thinking the combined exam came up, about 8-9 years ago? I think,
Probably.
is when that came up.
Probably.
Yeah,
So,
they-
but it'll say when, a contractor turns in their, credentials on their exam certificate, it'll say, master mechanical with gas or just master mechanical or journeyman mechanical with gas, so on and so forth.
Okay, so you find a gas leak, who gets to fix it?
I think either one. I don't see it.
Now, up there in Winfield, I think Rod has a maximum amount of gas piping that you can install and replace. What is it, 20 feet, I think?
I don't know. My situation's
I think
kinda
a
weird.
joint's about all you can get.
How much?
A joint.
A joint?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering about, because I know Rod requires that, and I can find out from Richard Jack what he requires the maximum to be on. I do know that both cities have a maximum on the gas pipe running. If you find a leak, you just replace so much. Which
And
on
that's
some
for
of
an
these houses,
HVAC
if you got a gas leak, it's better just repipe
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
thing.
Plumbers always had the ability, but here in town, it was just, we had from the gas cock in.
Okay.
And you kept telling the plumber, as long as it wasn't a certain individual that retired,
gas company,
put it in.
it's always been a plumber, you have to go with a plumber now.
Yeah.
Are they gonna, let heating and air guys do it too?
What's that?
On a gas test,
Right.
usually a plumber had to sign off on them.
Well, before I make any statement, I have to make another statement of, anytime, even though I'm an employee of Kansas Gas Service, I'm not sitting here as a representative of Kansas Gas Service by any shape or form, okay? I'm more than happy to attempt to answer any question like that. But if there is any votes that would have to happen, franchise things or anything that would be directed to Kansas Gas Service, that probably could be a conflict of interest for me,
Well, then
which
you
our
just-
company
But-
takes very
you just call
seriously.
it Conflict of interest.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and I would
Yeah,
have
we
to
don't have a
abstain
problem
from
with
that.
that.
I just want to make that general statement to everybody before I comment on any question. So, with that being said, the gas pressure test is a city ordinance. The gas company has nothing to do with it. other than when somebody calls and requests service from us. And that residence or that wherever we're gonna put that service into, if it's been vacant for a year, we track that obviously because we know when it was turned off and when they're asking to be turned on. And if that time period is a year or more, then we tell them they need to get the city inspect before we can turn their gas on. So that is all driven from the city. We just apply it if necessary.
Right, okay.
Basically, the gas company, just as long as there's a gas pressure test there, that's all they care about, and it's signed off by the city.
Right. Right.
We would
So
require.
you don't particularly
license
care,
for that.
just as long as
It's all
Mike's
up-
signed
it's-
off,
it's
yes,
all
that's,
here.
that falls
Yeah.
back on
I
Mike.
don't really have a problem with heating in here, I don't like doing them. I mean,
I didn't realize that they weren't already doing them, so,
Uh,
yeah.
That it never has been implemented in the city of our city that I know of. But like I said, that's something you guys can think over.
very few of them
Be
will
something to do
involved,
next
and
time.
now you're gonna spend hours trying to locate me,
Mm-hmm.
so.
But like I said, a lot of times when you find, and Jamie can contest to this, I think you've had 2 houses last time.
I
It's
just
cheaper
repacked one
just
last
to
week.
Re-gas it, re-pipe the whole thing.
Yeah.
And try to find a
I think we leave it to the plumbers, they're kinda experienced at that stuff, you know? Jamie says he likes it so well.
I wouldn't be able to do the repairs
No,
unless they have the fuel and gas.
The gas license. The
license.
gas license.
yeah.
They couldn't even do
With
the
their
pressure
heating
test.
in
and stuff.
there.
No, we
Yeah, I
can't even
think-
do that, so,
Well, if they don't have,
If
I
they
think-
don't,
if they don't have.
you're
fuel
gonna do the
gas,
test.
I think if they don't, it's back to
Yeah.
just unit connections only, you
If
know?
they don't have the fuel gas.
Cert.
The test, or, I mean, late enough to where it's part
They
of the
should
test,
be able to do the test.
they can't do the test. So that still falls underneath the fuel gas code, the test does.
But yeah, when the plumbers take it, their test is plumbing with gas,
Right.
you know? And so it's
HVACs with gas. too.
HVAC with gas, so it's, they take the same amount of gas, it's the same gas portions of each test. So I don't think it'd be right to deny somebody the ability to do gas
There's a
piping
few
tests
different
if they had that
Parts of
cert.
the test, like the plumbing test, there's more sizing of piping, well, for the inspector part of it, you say. And for the HVAC, there's some pipe sizing, it falls more into a flue piping, is what that falls into. But there is some on pipe sizing for, gas too.
Yeah.
And that's on the, certification that I had to take.
And again, this is just gonna be on next meeting's agenda, so we don't have to
No,
provide
you guys
any
take
action
it
on
over.
it. Okay. Any other items for discussion this evening?
I got one, let's get out of here.
I make a motion
Yeah. Is there
to
a,
adjourn.
Oh, you
Chris,
got
I have a motion
somebody
from Chris to
I'll
adjourn.
second it.
I've got a
I think it's
second
gonna
from
pass.
Randy Smith.
Dave said yes, he didn't, he was.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Yeah,
Meeting
you're